All right, everybody, so welcome back. So we are now joined in studio by Dr. Letetia Addison, Project Officer 3, University Office of Planning. And recently, Dr. Addison and her team were given the UN Climate Change Technology Executive Committee Award, and also received a grand prize for 2024 AI Innovation Challenge at COP29. Dr. Addison, thank you very much for coming this morning. It's always a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah? Well, here's what, Doctor, let's speak about this award that you and your team would have received and what the award was for what?
Yes.
I know it was a project that you all had been working on.
Yeah, so it was really a compilation of research that we have been doing. My team and I lead an AI in research, climate research cluster with some of you may know Professor Patrick Hussain, who recently won the Order of Trinidad and Tobago, my dear colleague and mentor. And we have a few students as part of that research cluster. And funny enough, I actually saw this competition on LinkedIn. And I mentioned to Professor, I said, do you think this is something that we can enter with some of the research you have been doing? And he's always very supportive of this type of work. So fast forward to entering the competition, it was really an AI-based solution that they wanted from small island developing states to really understand how we can use AI to really drive innovation with respect to climate impacts that we face. So in terms of the competition, we had to submit a proposal, and the challenge was really going through about 3 or 4 different structures of having this proposal refined. And in the end, I'm happy to report that we were the first out of 114 proposals across 62 countries, really just showing not only the talent, but our innovative ideas and really where we want to take this type of work in Trinidad and Tobago and also the region. Yeah.
But you know, Doctor, it speaks, I think, to the expertise, experience of you and your team.
Yes.
And the quality of work that you all are doing.
Yes, yes. And I mean, I am just a representation of a really amazing multidisciplinary team, I would say. I think we are all very passionate about this type of work, marrying climate change work and also looking at the artificial intelligence, data analytics, and bringing these two fields together to create something that's sustainable is really what we are focused on.
Yeah. And you know, Doctor, I want to get deeper into this project because to me, it sounds a bit technical.
Yes.
And I want our viewers to really understand the project. So the project, it's AI-driven climate resilience platform for SIDS?
Yes, AI for SIDS for short.
Yes.
So, in fact, if you want to think about it before we get to the technical aspect of things, it's based on the lived experiences that we have in the region. And let's take Trinidad, for example. I mean, at COP29, I use the example that we say every time a drop of rain falls, it floods, right? And it's really to show how we've become accustomed to this lived experience of flooding and different impacts. But what do we do about it? We have different players in society. We have the fishermen, we have the farmers, we have the professionals, we have the persons who want to help mitigate disasters, we have officials. So we thought about thinking in terms of these persons' lived experiences, how could we develop a platform that meets the needs of all these players and really take into account really building something that's predictive and something that is real time. So we do get the weather alerts, but we may need weather alerts faster. We may need to have more information about floods and educating persons about flood risks. We might have to incorporate more strategies using artificial intelligence, building around that to really speed up that process. So on the less technical side is really putting all these players into a space where they can actually get that information faster.
Is that the end objective of the project?
Really and truly, yes. And of course, really on a larger scale, we really want to have stakeholders like persons in disaster management, professionals, even ministries, be able to use such a tool to really be able to drive allocation of funds, really thinking about the strategies they can use, build scenarios, predict aspects based on data, and we also need the data. So it really pushes us now to think about the data that we need to collect for such a task.
So it's really aimed at preparedness.
Yes. Yes, so it's really helping early warning systems to be more effective. I mean, in this region, less than 40% of SIDS actually have early warning systems that are prepared to really give more real-time information. So it's really to kind of meet all those players where they are and enhance. We don't really want to replace, but we want to really enhance the traditional strategies and really optimize those solutions and have something that's more sustainable in the long run.
Yeah. So where are you all as it relates to the development of the project?
Yes.
And I ask it in the context of how soon can we something like this put into operation?
Right, yeah, so that's a good question. In fact, I mean, we started to look at what we call a proof of concept, which is to build certain aspects of such a platform to understand how it will work. But in terms of winning the competition, we're so humbled and grateful to have this type of international support and regional support, because now we are in a lot of meetings with some of the UN agencies and some of the collaborators to really push to build that platform within probably the next 6 to 9 months.
6 to 9 months?
Yeah.
Before operation?
Yes.
When it could be put into
and
operation?
Could be, yeah, so it's of course that that's an estimated time frame.
Yeah.
Of course, it could be
shorter
or longer, but that's really the time frame. Now it's really about a fast-moving idea to really get this operational, and of course we would need the support to really implement, because we don't want it to just sit there on a website. You know, we want it to be used and to be useful.
Let's talk a little bit about the support that you may need.
Yes. Yeah, so, I mean, of course, in terms of winning a competition like this, we have gotten computing credits, which is actually to build the platform. So we will have the architectural support. But what we would need is funding in terms of having such a platform rolled out. You would have to have maintenance of this platform. So we would definitely need funding in terms of all different aspects, in terms of having even more expertise come into play in such a platform. So I think funding is always welcome for these types of tasks, and also really building a consortium of persons different players from different ministries, technical experts, regional experts, to be able to really speak to and drive what they would like to see in such a platform.
How does this platform, or can this platform, because I suspect the platform can be adapted to not only Trinidad and Tobago, but all other countries.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you said that, because really and truly the main goal of this competition actually overall, not only for our team but for the other finalists, is to have an AI hub in the end, where we can have all these what we call open solutions, open source solutions, which other countries can use, and we could scale to other countries, and it can be customizable. In our case, the tool that we created, we say it's adaptive, autonomous, and agent-based. And really, we want it to be customizable to different countries, and we also want to think about having it learn from the data that it has, and also be able to have predictive solutions. So in the end, any country can actually take this tool and be able to use it for their perspectives.
Is this the first system such as this?
No, I wouldn't say it's the first system in terms of some of the separate components. I think some of the generative AI components that we would like to include would be things that are also in the works in other countries, because everybody is in different stages of progression. But I think altogether, what's unique about it is the components that we want to put together in one space. I think that really makes it unique. And in the end, in some parts of this, you don't have to reinvent the wheel from scratch, because some other countries would be more advanced. They would have certain systems that would be able to speak to the tool. But I think the uniqueness comes from the different components that we have put together in this particular space to be able to really advance these types of solutions. So thinking about using generative AI, like when we use ChatGPT to ask ChatGPT answers, we want to be able to have what we call a large language model component, where you can actually educate persons and ask it questions based on that country's specific climate impact data. So all of these components are really customizable, and we're really excited about really building this out into something larger.
Yeah, but when I think about what you're telling us, Dr. Addison, I think that the potential of this project the potential, it's massive, and the opportunities are many.
Yeah, definitely. And the research opportunities, and I would like to say, and I always say from the university perspective, especially coming from the University of the West Indies, we are really happy to be part of that mission to be more innovative in the Caribbean and to really push these opportunities for the students, and then of course into the real world applications for the community. So that academic industry partnership is key with such a platform.
Have other countries or other organizations taken notice of this award that you all have, won?
So we have a lot of persons reaching out currently from various arms of the UN and also some of their subsidiary countries, from Saudi Arabia, from England, and of course from the US. So we're working with different partner agencies right now to really see how we can partner and collaborate. Because, I mean, in the end, it's really a collaboration. I think, as one world and one community, that's really key to be able to make something like this work in a larger space. But I will also say that I'm happy to be part of a small island developing state to drive a small island developing state tool such as this. So it's really an exciting process.
Yeah, because I think that some of the things that you're telling us this morning, when I listen to you, I get the feeling that and what I'm thinking about is like the International Space Station. You know how you have several countries working on the space station, on satellites, and so on. So I see the potential in this happening.
And it's nice that you mentioned satellite, because even satellite data, the types of data that we want to source, some of it we have to outsource that type of data, satellite data, even data from sensors, IoT devices, they call it, all these types of things. Some of it is not only lodged here. So it really is more of a very collaborative space for this type of tool.
Yeah. But I'm thinking about the preparation again, and because it is predictive.
Yes.
And I'm thinking when this becomes fully operational, this could prevent countries from prevent countries from, because when disasters happen, there's this great amount of resources,
of course,
that go into rebuilding countries. And I suspect this can be used in preventing and helping countries prepare for these disasters. Yes,
exactly. I mean, we want to also reduce the carbon footprint as well. So we really want to give persons the tools beforehand, so you will know, okay, these are the strategies we should take. So before these disaster strikes, then I will be able to sort of mitigate those risks that can happen when the disaster occurs. I mean, we can't probably eliminate all the disasters, but if you can actually just really help yourselves in that way, that's really what the platform will do. And hopefully for like the disaster management agencies in particular, it will give them the resources to give more real-time feedback, more real-time alerts, and more educational resources to help persons to also help themselves as well.
Doctor, we just have about a minute again. Anything else you'd like to share with us before you leave us this morning?
I would just like to say that it's really an honor to represent this type of work, and it's ongoing. So if anybody wants to contact me or my team, feel free to do so. I can always share my email address. I'm also on LinkedIn, so you can follow me on LinkedIn. And we really want a lot of the agencies and ministries to really come speak to us and collaborate and really have a really nice regional consortium for something like this to grow larger in the space that we're in currently.
And work with some funding. Because Doctor and her team need that. All right, Doctor, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for the work that you and your team continue to do and continue to put us on the map, the university and Trinidad and Tobago. We do appreciate it. Bye for now, Doctor. All right, so we are